Welcome, entrepreneurs. I'm Ann Kay on my lifelong quest, Escaping Ordinary. Join me as I interview wildly successful and rising entrepreneurs that value travel as an essential influence in their outlook and mindset, and how it helps them live happy, fulfilling lives, build successful businesses, and craft their own extraordinary lives. I'm Ann Kay, and this is Escaping Ordinary. I am so excited about today's guest, but first, if you missed the last episode, what do skateboarding online courses, $140 million, and TV all have in common? I hope you'll check out my interview with Dave Espino, who has the key for how entrepreneurs can make an impact in the world with their knowledge, skills, and experience. Today, I am excited about my guest, Jodi Chaffee, a seasoned podcaster, homeschool mom, and family culture expert. She has hosted our Modern Heritage, the Home and Family Culture podcast for nearly 3 years and recently released her 100th episode. Congratulations on that. That's an accomplishment. During this time, she has interviewed dozens of experts, from Paralympic athletes to entrepreneurs to authors and experts. For more than 3 years, Jodi studied business culture and looked for a way to apply it to families. This resulted in a powerful framework for hacking successful cultures and applying it to families who want to live intentionally and question the status quo. She has been featured on several podcasts, presented homeschool conferences, and is a published author in a digital magazine. Welcome, Jodi Chaffee, to Escaping Ordinary.
Thank you, Anne. I'm happy to be here.
I am excited to have you as my guest during launch week of my new show, Escaping Ordinary, especially since you have been my coach throughout the 28-day outstanding Podcast Profit Lab training. I am proud to say that you led our team tenacity onto weekly wins more than any of our competition.
It's true.
Please tell us a little bit more about you and give us an overview of your Modern Heritage Home and Family podcast culture and where you plan on taking it before I get to the one big question of the day.
Thank you, Anne. I'm excited to share that because I'm actually about to relaunch the podcast and give it a new name. I'm going to be calling it the Family Culture Movement. And so I'm excited to be able to have that more concise and clear presentation of what my mission is about family culture, because I really believe that there needs to be a movement that brings families back to the center of our society as the solution for so many problems that we face in this world. And so that's something that I'm really passionate about it. And I'm going to go into that even more with my stories about my travels in our discussion, because I just believe very strongly that we need to be intentional about the culture that we're creating with our families, meaning the values and the policies, the things that we implement in our families, our communication and traditions and norms. So that's something that I just believe really strongly about.
I love your whole concept and what you're doing for families. It's just really special. First off, I want to thank you very much for agreeing to come back in the future so we can talk more. This is a little bit shorter segment being the launch, but we'll be able to delve more into your home and family movement and be able to take it from there. But now, looking back at experiences in your life, whether traveling somewhere around the world or just across town, is there one significant influence experience you could share with us that inspired change in who you became as the result, and how that allowed you to craft successful changes in your personal life and your business?
Absolutely. So I want to tell you about an experience that when I was 21, I volunteered to participate in a mission trip for my church. It's a program that they can send you pretty much anywhere in the world, and you don't get to pick. And there's limited communication at the time with our families. And so I knew that this was going to be a 1.5 year commitment that I would be basically forced to grow up. And when I got my assignment, they told me I was going to live in Hawaii. And so I was like, oh, not a terrible assignment. This sounds good.
Take, girl.
Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, there's definitely worse assignments, right? And but I had no idea what to expect in Hawaii. I mean, obviously you think of Hawaii, it's like beautiful beaches and palm trees. And I don't know, I didn't really know anything about Hawaiian culture. So it wasn't like I was picturing huts or, things like that. I was like, it's a state, right? Like it's got it's a United States.
It has running water, right?
Right. It's not a third world country, right? But at the same time, like, because there were so many cultures there, is so much diversity, and, you know, the climate was so different. I mean, I grew up in Michigan, you know, and so to go to Hawaii, I was kind of terrified because I also have very sensitive skin, and, you know, I'm very Irish, and like, so I was just like, oh my goodness. So I was excited and had a little bit of trepidation as well, because it was the first time really being away from home. And I was going to be required to do quite a bit, because I was going to be required to, you know, talk to people about my faith. And I was also assigned to a place where I would basically be like a tour guide at the Polynesian Cultural Center and the Visitor Center there in the community. And so I had to approach people. You know, that's a big part of these mission trips, was that to approach people and to talk to them. And I didn't realize how much of an introvert I was. I mean, I grew up very shy, for sure, but to compel myself to get up and to talk to people and talk about things that were very important to me was really scary. And then to talk to people randomly going, you know, it completely transformed myself as a person, just in and of itself, of having to talk to people and approach people. And so that was a big deal.
Yep.
But then on top of that, the reason why it made another huge impact on me was because of the cultural experience that I had there. I met people from all over the world. And I even served some of the students at the college there, and they were there on like sports scholarships and academic scholarships. I mean, from everywhere. And so it was really inspiring, really interesting to meet all these people. And so this is the story that I tell about where I first encountered family culture, was actually as a missionary in Hawaii. Because I went to dinner at a young couple's house, and they were from 2 different countries. And at their house, we go into the door, and they were clearly butting heads about something. And it was like, oh my goodness, what's happening? I was not married. I didn't have a family, you know, it's like, and they were really going at it and fighting. And it was clear that the conflict had to do with their cultural differences, that they had even just received advice that interracial couples were doomed. And so it was like, I think they're starting to believe that. I don't think that was not good advice, but they were starting to believe it. And I started to kind of panic, because I was like, what if I meet and marry somebody from another country? How am I going to make it work? And realizing actually it doesn't matter, because even if they come from a different family, we have a different culture. And so that to me was a huge wake up call, because I really want to have a successful family, you know? So after that experience with this couple and waking up to this fear of, wow, I don't know how to blend cultures, and because everybody has a culture wherever you come from. And so I approached one of the other missionaries, who is an older gentleman, and he and his wife were from different countries. And they'd been married for decades, you know, obviously making it work. And so I wanted to ask him, you know, I told him the situation, and I was like, you know, how do you do it? How do you make this work? And I'll never forget what he said, because it's really been the foundation of everything that I'm believing about family culture. He said that you need to forget about where you come from and adopt agree together on what your new culture is going to be. And so I was like, oh, okay. And which for him to say it, he was from a Polynesian country, and they have beautiful culture, right? And it's not that he completely forgot about or wrote off everything about his heritage, but his advice was, you know, you just need to come together and agree on it, because you're going to form a new family. You're going to start a new culture. So that's what you have to do. You have to agree on it and come together and talk about those things and decide and evaluate and, you know, take inventory of, well, this is what my family always did, but we don't have to do it going forward, or this is what your family always did, and I kind of like it, or, you know, it just depends. You need to have that conversation. So that's my story about Hawaii. And it was a very eye-opening experience, the whole thing, every aspect of it. And I wouldn't trade it for anything. It was challenging, because, you know, I really did have to grow up a lot on my own. And, you know, but I had mentors and I had friends that I met there, but it really opened my eyes up to a lot of different kind of cultures and it
changed you inside, didn't it?
Oh, completely. Yeah. So, I mean, I came home a totally new person
and everything. Yeah. Your whole concepts and ideas. It's amazing how travel can do that to you.
Absolutely.
Well, I want to thank you so much for coming. It's been a delight, and I hope you come back again. Please tell my listeners how they can reach out to you and learn more about is it the Modern Heritage Tribe?
The Home and Family Culture.
The Home and Family Culture. I knew it had changed. I just got it a little bit backwards.
It's the Family Culture Movement. And I have a Facebook group. We're called the Family Culture Hackers. And so that's where I post a lot of my content. I screen my podcast episodes before they go out and get published on my inside of the Facebook
I thought
group.
That was a wonderful idea.
Yeah, so you get to see it before it goes anywhere else. And so that's all inside the Family Culture Hackers Facebook group. And so you can find me inside there as well.
I'll put all of your links and everything in the show comments. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you, Anne.
Bye-bye.
Thanks so much for listening to this show. It's been great to have you here. And if you liked what you heard, please hit the subscribe button now, like, share, and leave a rave review below. It would be most appreciated. And don't forget to join us next week. I can't wait to introduce you to my next guest. While you're at it, head over to Facebook and join the Escaping Ordinary group. You'll find the link in the episode notes. Once you're there, you'll be able to interact with me and like-minded entrepreneurs also looking to escape ordinary. Oh, and when you join the group, you'll get a special gift designed especially for those escaping their ordinary. In the meantime, be looking for those precious gems of inspiration all around you when you're traveling the world or just going around the corner, and start filling your treasure chest of insights.